Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Mulan. Mulan is a 2020 Disney live-action adaptation of their 1998 animated classic, as well as The Legend from China, telling the story of a young girl who takes her ailing father's place when China is called to war. In order to save the honor of her family and her own life, she must masquerade as a male soldier in an unforgiving landscape. So I absolutely love the 1998 animated classic. The music obviously is fantastic, but it's a really compelling, beautifully told story, and of course the animation, top tier. But naturally, like Disney has been doing over the past half decade, every popular Disney film must be made into a live action adaptation. Thus, we now have Mulan. Now, while the internet seemed to be up in arms over the fact that we were getting rid of side characters like Mushu and we weren't putting in the songs, in fact, this is not a musical, I actually was more excited by these facts. We were told that we were getting a more faithful adaptation to the legend of Mulan that comes from China rather than the Disney animated film. And especially after we've received several of these live action remakes that are virtually carbon copies of the animated classics, I was ready for a live action film that dared to actually adapt material and take inspiration from, but expand and deliver a new film. And ultimately, I think that's what they did. I enjoyed Mulan quite a bit. So let's go ahead and kick off with our positives. I want to start with the visuals because I think for the most part, the visual effects are stunning. The set pieces are absolutely gorgeous. The costumes were a little bit costumey, but looked pretty overall. And then those landscapes and that cinematography, particularly, this movie looked amazing. Across the board, visually, a feast. I also really enjoyed the score. So, no, we don't have those musical numbers pop up in the film. However, the score incorporates the songs we know and love in a little bit more of an elevated fashion, and I thought it was handled very well. I also enjoyed most all of the changes that they made. I loved this sorceress played by Gong Li. She was a fantastic character, and I really love where they took that story arc. And I love the climax of this film. They make choices that really worked for the material that was here. We get this theme of loyalty, bravery, and honesty, and they play into that in a beautiful fashion. I love the resolution as well. I enjoyed the big reveal of Mulan being a woman and how it really showed leadership skills. Everything about Mulan coming into her own worked beautifully for me in this film. Liu Yifei, who plays Mulan in the film, is wonderful. I think she's very charismatic. She delivers this role. She was fantastic across the board, whether it be the emotional moments or the action oriented stuff. She killed it. I have to say, just across the board, I loved this beautiful international cast. We have international stars from China like Gong Li, who were wonderful in this film. She really got to show why she is such a superstar, and she was great. Donnie Yen is here. He's also wonderful. We get Jet Li, but very little. Ma is always wonderful in everything I've ever seen him in, and he is just as good in this film. Rosalind Chow is beautiful here. Oh, and Jimmy Wong, amazing. I thought he was really fantastic. Most all of the cast delivered. There were some moments where you're like, and there are definitely some moments where the dubbing was not good. Acting sold what we needed, particularly from our two leading ladies here. I have to give a shout out to Nikki Cairo, who is our first female director for one of these live action adaptations from Disney, and her presence was really felt in this film. What I loved is that in the action sequences, particularly those that involved Mulan, is we got a fierce warrior. So often, particularly in superhero films as of late, we're trying out this how can they take down a man approach where it's a lot of like flipping and a lot of momentum using. I liked getting to see Mulan having one, a set skill that pretty much nobody else had in the film, but two, her just being a warrior out there, her just taking to the fight. We don't need all of these crazy flips and maneuvers. It was just empowering. And then again, once we got to those end moments, it felt empowering. And that's what I loved that this film did, is that the changes that were made continued the idea and essence of empowerment. So, what doesn't work so well when it comes to Mulan then? Well, I really didn't like the opening. We get to see Mulan as a small child to start the film, and I don't know why. It really was like a baffling decision to me. I guess it's to give her warrior spirit backstory, but it was so over the top and ridiculous for the small child that you're like, what? Oh my God. I also think the editing is not very good. The action is really fun and vibrant, as the whole film is very vibrant. But in those action set pieces, as well as just in general, the editing is so choppy and so manic that it does a disservice to the beauty that is being displayed on the screen. So I think the editing was a big hindrance overall. As I said, the dub that happens, especially with the Emperor, not great. Just from the sound mixing aspect, you could tell that this person was not here. This voice was not coming from the same ambient space. A lot of those technical aspects just didn't quite work out for me. And also, I think the film is at its weakest when it's referencing back to the original animation. And honestly, I think the film is at its weakest, actually, when it is referencing back to that Disney classic. One moment, particularly, a song from the classic is transformed into lines of dialogue, and I really didn't like it. I thought it was terrible. We get those nods going throughout. I just think, honestly, this was such a standalone film on its own that just the musical hints, the name, the general storyline was enough. We didn't need those kind of direct, in your face, wink wink moments throughout. But overall, I really enjoyed Mulan. This is one of the most successful live action adaptations that Disney has done to date. For once, it feels like the remake was warranted from Disney. They told a different adaptation of a classic story rather than purely remaking their own film, and it was all the better for it. So overall, if you have a daughter who's in the 10-year-old range, I think this is a fantastic movie to rent and to watch with her. Honestly, if you have any kids around the 10-year-old age range, I think this is a fantastic family film to just sit down, watch, enjoy. I think you'll have a really good time with it. Otherwise, it's really hard for me to recommend that people without families spend the $30 to rent this, or families with small children. I don't think they're going to be really very interested while watching Mulan. I think they'll probably get quite bored. If you have a group of folks who are looking forward to see it, I think give it a chance, give it a watch. I think you'll agree it's one of the best live action remakes to date. Otherwise, it is coming to Disney Plus for free for all subscribers in December. So you just have a couple months, I guess, if you're not looking to pay that $30 price tag. So that was my review of Mulan. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Mulan, or have you already seen it? If you have, let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!